This
analyzing the
conference will
data
now be recorded.
and helping the business at the same time insurance companies as well. If अगर मुझे पहले से पता चल जाए कि इस पर्टिकुलर पर्सन को ये डिजीज हो सकता है, तो मैं इंश्योरेंस कंपनी को वो डेटा प्रोवाइड कर सकता हूँ। इंश्योरेंस कंपनी अकॉर्डिंगली एक प्रीमियम चार्ज कर सकता है उस बंदे से फॉर द इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी। So it is helping a lot of people. It is helping a lot of, I would say, the individuals. So data science is again a great way of improving the lives, and this is what we are going to talk about today. So here is the main scenario is we have FNA, which is fine needle aspirate, and helping us to get the details about the tumor. These are some of the tumor images, and from these images we fetched out the features like radius, texture, perimeter, area, smoothness. Based on these features, we want to understand whether the tumor which we have is a malignant or benign. Now, we want to create a classifier because now it's a classification problem where I want to classify the data set, whether this particular tumor which I have, the details of the tumor which I have is basically a cancerous tumor or not. So we have to create an algorithm which will help me to do the classification. And with the help of machine learning, we are going to solve this particular problem. Now, here is the data set which we have. We have around, you can see 30 columns or something, 31 columns. And this is the data set which is actually consists of the actual tumor data. And it has around 590, 560 some records. This particular data consists of the radius of the tumor, the texture of the tumor, perimeter of the tumor, what is the area of the tumor, smoothness, compactness, concavity, concave points, symmetry, fractal dimension, radius error. Like you can see it's a huge amount of dimensions. And I got all these information from the business, and I want to solve this particular problem to understand whether the patient will get the tumor or not, right? So based on this entire columns which I have, I want to predict whether the patient will get disease or not. That is what my requirement is. Now, if I talk about in a mathematical term, I want to predict y, which is nothing but my dependent variable. Now, my dependent variable in this scenario is the target. This is the column which I have, which is nothing but my target, which I want to predict. Now, I already have this data which consists of the answers as well, whether the patient is having cancer or not, right? Or whether the tumor which he has is it cancerous or not. So 0 means obviously the tumor is not cancerous, and 1 means it is a cancerous tumor. Now this is what I want to predict. Now classification algorithm which we are creating, it's a supervised machine learning algorithm where I already have the data, I already have the I would say the answer of that data. And what I will do is I will divide the data. Now let's try to understand what is supervised learning is all about. So I have this data set which consists of 569 records. Now what I will do is I'll divide the data into train and test. Now what I will do is I will create a model on this train data. My model is trained on the train data, and I will use this test data to test the model. Now, once I use this test data to test the model, I'm able to check as well whether my predictions which I am getting is correct or not. That is why it is known as a supervised way of machine learning, because I have something to check whether this is going to happen or not, or whether this is correct or not. So in this test data, we are going to actually test my model which I have created in this train data. So in this 569 records which I have, what I will do is I'll break the data into 70% and 30%. 70% data which I will have, I'll make this as a trained data. I'll do the model training on that data set, and then on the 30% of the data set, I will do the testing. Now the same thing I'm gonna do here in today's session as well. And I will use Python. Now, Python is very amazing programming language which we use for all these stuffs. There are a lot of other tools as well, R programming, there is a SAS as well, but in industry, people are using Python a lot because of the flexibility it has. So we are going to use Python and try to solve this classification problem. Now here, there are various algorithms we have. Now in a classification model, there are various algorithms which we have to, which we can run and get the predictions. The first one is known as logistic regression. This is one of the basic algorithm which we have for classification problem. We can apply this algorithm and try to do the predictions. Second algorithm which we can use is k nearest neighbor. This is again an amazing algorithm which is helping me to find the correct prediction. Now what I will do is I will explain some of the algorithms. Obviously we have a time constraint, so I will not explain all the algorithms, but there are lot many algorithms which we have. Let me explain, give some of the names as well. Second is naive Bayes. Then we have support vector machine. We have decision tree. And the last algorithm which we have is random forest. These are the 5-6 algorithms which we have, which is very much popular in the industry. We are going to talk about some of the algorithms and try to first understand the mathematics behind it, how it actually works, right? So let me talk about the simple algorithm which is known as k nearest neighbor. All right. So here is my data set. Now k nearest neighbor works on the distances. In our school days, we studied about Euclidean distance, or I can say Pythagoras theorem, right? If you see this algorithm, you can see this formula. It is nothing but x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square, square root of that, right? That is nothing but the distance between the 2 points. Now, let's say this new employee joins in. Based on age and the salary, I want to know whether this guy will go to office by walk or will go to office by drive. That is what we need to find out. Now, question arises, how will I able to find it? So there is a concept of k nearest neighbor algorithm where I will decide how many nearest neighbor. Now that again, the default value which we have is 5, which my algorithm takes, but we can choose the value of k with various different techniques, which is known as hyperparameter tuning. But as of now, what I am doing is I am making my k as 5. What it will do is, this is my new employee. I want to find the distance between this point and all the points. That means, let's say this is my patient. I want to know whether that patient will have cancerous tumor or not. I want to predict that. So I will find the distance between this point and all the other points. And then I am deciding that I want to find the 5 nearest neighbor. Now in this data set, I have, these are the 5 points which are near to this black point. That means that these 3 values which are green and these 2 values which are orange are near to this black point. So now I want to predict whether this black employee will drive to work or walk to work. So in this 5 nearest neighbor, out of 5, I see 30, like 3 values. 60% of the employees are walking, 40% of the employees are driving. So majority is at the walking. So automatically this particular employee will walk to work. So how simple is that, right? We have to find the distances. I want to find the distance between all the points with the new point, and then I will actually check the nearest neighbor out of this five. Where is the majority? If the majority is at walk, so obviously that particular person will walk to work. That is my k nearest neighbor algorithm. Second algorithm which we have is naive Bayes algorithm. Now this works on the probability. This works on the conditional probability. Now here I have this guy. I want to know whether this guy will walk to office by like go to office by walk or by drive. So what will happen? This is the formula which runs at the back end. The formula is nothing but probability of walk when the condition is x. Now what is x? This equation I'll try to explain you. Probability of x when the condition is walk multiply by probability of walk divided by probability of x. Now I want to understand this formula first before we get into the actual understanding. Let's say this x is nothing but XYZ person. Let's say Rohan, for example. Now this black guy is nothing but Rohan. Now what I want is I want to know whether Rohan will gonna walk to work or drive to work. For that, I have to understand this equation. Probability of walk when the condition is Rohan. Right? So X is nothing but Rohan. So probability of walk when the condition is Rohan is what I want to predict. Is equal to probability of Rohan when the condition is walk. Probability of Rohan when the condition is walk multiply by probability of walk divided by probability of Rohan. This is the simple equation we have. Now, how will I able to find that? How will I able to understand that? First of all, I want to find probability of walk. Now, if you count the number of green dots, the number of green dots are nothing but 18. And total number of dots, excluding this black dot, are 35. So 18 by 35 is nothing but probability of walk. So we got probability of walk, which is nothing but 18 by 35. So we got this particular value. Now we want to find the probability of Rohan. Now, how will I able to find the probability of Rohan? We able to find the probability of Rohan by considering this as an imaginary circle. We are actually collecting all the employees which are same as Rohan, right? So I'll actually checking what how many employees are exactly same as Rohan. So think about an imaginary circle where I am creating an imaginary circle where inside the circle I have all the employees same as Rohan. So here you can see that we have 5 employees exactly same as Rohan. So what is the probability of Rohan then? Probability of Rohan is 5 by 35 because total number of employees exactly same as Rohan are 5 divided by total number of employees will get 5 by 35. After that, probability of Rohan when the condition is walk. So now I am applying the conditional probability. Now I have to take only one condition, whether he is walking. So how many people are walking? 18 people are walking. How many out of that are Rohan or type of Rohan? So there are 3 people who are walking and also a type of Rohan. So probability of Rohan when the condition is walk comes out to be 3 by 18. So now I have these 3 values which I am looking for to use or to calculate the probability of walk when the condition is Rohan. I'll put that in the equation. I'll get 3 by 5, which is nothing but 60%. So from here, I will able to understand that Rohan will gonna walk to work because the probability is coming out as 60%, which is more than 50%. So that is how my naive Bayes algorithm works. So now what I will do is the data set which I have for the cancer, I will gonna use these 2 algorithms and try to solve that problem. Now here is my data set which I have to import. So I'll open one Jupyter notebook where I will do the coding. Give me a minute. So here is my Jupyter notebook. And I'm assuming that you guys have an idea about Python a bit. Now, here is my data, which is in the downloads. So I'll just set my working directory. So import os.chdr, and I'll pass the location, right, where my data is present, which is in the downloads folder. So I'll just go ahead and paste it here. All right. So now we have this location, and my data is present at this location. I will use pandas package, which is import pandas as pd, and the data which I have is in a CSV format. So pd.read CSV. I have data.csv. You can see the data coming in. I'll save that in the current instance of Anaconda in the form of df. I'm making the data frame name as df. I can very well check whether my data imported successfully or not. So I'll use length of df. Total we are getting is nothing but 569 records. That is what we saw in the data as well. Also length of df dot columns, which will help me to understand how many columns we have. So 31 columns we have. That is what we saw in the data set. Now, what I will do is I will first split the data into X and Y. Now, if you check in my DF, I can very well say that out of all these columns, only target column is my Y, which is my dependent variable, right? And my independent variables are rest of the columns. So what I will do is I will split the data into X and Y. So df.ilog, and I'll make this as 0:30. You can see these are the columns which are nothing but my independent variables. I am not getting now target because I removed the target, and I'll make this as values because I want to convert it to an array, because array will make things faster. Let's make x is equal to this. Similarly, I'll make y. So df.ilog colon comma 31, or I can say 30. If I execute, you can see that I'm getting 0 ones, which is nothing but the target, right? If you see the last column target, it is nothing but 0 ones, zeros and ones we have. So here you see zeros and ones and make that as values. And let's make this as y. So now I have x, which is my independent variable, and I have y, which is my dependent variable. Now what I want is, based on the x, I want to predict y. So I want to apply the algorithms which we discussed. But before that, as I mentioned, it is a supervised machine learning algorithm. So I will split the data into test and train, right? So I will split the data into test and train, where I will create a model on the test, on the train, and test the model on the test, right? So I'll split the data so that I will have two types of data. One is train and second is test. So from sklearn, which is a machine learning package in Python, very powerful. We use it a lot. Dot model selection, import train test split, x train, x test, y train, y test is equal to train test split, x comma y. Test size is equal to, let's say, 0.2, 20%. So what I did is I converted, or I have broken the data into test and train, where I am putting 80% of the records in train data and 20% of the records in the test data. Now what I will do is I'll create a model on the 80% of the records, and then I will test the model on the 20% of the records, so that I will able to compare whether the output which I am getting is correct or not. So for that, what I'll do is I'll run the algorithms. Now we spoke about two algorithms. One is k nearest neighbor, second is naive Bayes. So I will run both the algorithms and we'll see which one is giving me a better accuracy. So from sklearn dot neighbors import k neighbor classifier. Classifier underscore knn is equal to a neighbor classifier n neighbors. Now, as I mentioned, n neighbors by default it takes as 5. If you are not passing anything, it will consider as 5 by default. Okay, let's say I'm not passing anything. Classifier knn dot fit. I want to fit the model in which data? I want to fit in train data. So classifier knn dot fit x train y train. And now I executed the model, and you see here the neighbors which it is taking is by default as 5. You did not pass anything, and by default it took as 5. Now my model is trained. How many seconds it took? Just few seconds, and we are ready with the model. My model is ready, and now I want to do the prediction of the test data. I already created the model on the train data. If you remember, here we discussed that we will have a separate data, train and test. Here we discussed that. So here we created the model on this train data, and now I want to test on the test data. I already know the answer, which one has cancer tumor, which one don't have cancer tumor, and I can very well compare that after doing the predictions. So it is like one way of checking. So what I will do is I already have the model classifier knn dot predict. I want to predict what? X test. So based on the test data, I want to do the prediction, and I did the prediction here. This is my predicted value. Y pred, let's give name as knn. From knn, this is what the prediction value I'm getting. Y pred knn. Now what I want is I want to find the accuracy of a model, whether my model is accurate or not. So there is a concept of confusion matrix, which I'll talk about. So from sklearn dot matrices import confusion matrix, y test comma y pred knn. I got some numbers. Now I'm not sure what is this number is all about, but that is what we have to discuss now. Now let me copy this number. Numbers are 38,5,170. 38,5,170. This I am getting from KNN model. Okay. I'll keep this aside. What I will do, I'll run the second model first of all, and then I will compare the accuracies. Second model which I want to run is naive Bayes algorithm. We had a discussion about naive Bayes. So from sklearn dot naive Bayes import Gaussian NB. Classifier underscore NB is equal to Gaussian NB. Then classifier NB dot fit x train y train. My model is created. Now I want to do the prediction. So classifier NB dot predict. I want to predict my X test. I got some output. Let's save this y pred NB is equal to something which is nothing but my model. Then confusion matrix y test y pred NB. I am getting some numbers which is different than these numbers. Let's put that number in the Excel again. 44 1 42 1 5 66. 42 1 5 66. Now let me make it let's make it 0, 1. Okay. Now, what does this confusion matrix actually means? It means that when I am reading the rows, now 38 plus 5, 7 plus 1, 70 plus 1, 71. 38 plus 5 is what? 43. And 70 plus 1 is what? 71. So as per my, now I'm creating the mod, I'm testing the model on the test data. So in my test data, there should be 71 ones and 43 zeros. Let's check that. If I go to Y test, if I will do sum, I am getting 71. Why I am getting 71? Because if I will do the sum here, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, I will sum up all, I'll get 71. That means that in my actual data, 71 people are 1. That means maybe the tumor is cancerous. And 0 means how many zeros? Obviously, total number of records, how many we have? If I check the length I have is 114 minus if I do sum of Y test, I'll get 43. So now from here, 43 records means this, 71 record means this. So from the actual data, 43 records are zeros and 71 records are ones. Same you will get here also, 42 plus 1, 43. 5 plus 66 is nothing but 71. So when you are reading the rows, that means it is my actual data. But when I am reading the columns, that means it is a predicted data. So as per actual, 43 people are non-cancerous and 71 people are cancerous. But as per the prediction, 38 plus 1, 39 people are non-cancerous and 75 people are cancerous as per my K nearest neighbor algorithm. Same way here also, based on name base, 42 plus 5 people are 42 plus 5 people are 47, which are non-cancerous, and 1 plus 66 are cancerous, 67, as per my model predictions. Now, question arises: which one is giving me the correct prediction? Which one is the correct uh, model? Like which model is giving me the best accuracy? Now, can I say that as per my actual data and as per my predicted data, 38 people are correct? Like the predictions are having correct for this 38 people. Same way, as per my actual data and as per the predicted data, 70 people are correct also. So out of entire data of 114, 38 plus 70, which is nothing but 108, are correct predictions. So what is the percentage? Percentage comes out to be 108 divided by 114, which is nothing but 94.73% accuracy I am getting from this particular data set, from this model. If I go to the another model, the naive Bayes model, here 42 plus 66, 108, again I am getting here. So 108 divided by 114, here also I am getting the same accuracy. Now question arises, which one should I go for? This is very critical, right? This finding the cancer, whether the patient is having cancer or not, is very critical for me. So in that case, I prefer to go with this model, because in this model, I would say if the cancer is there or not, I am able to understand, like for most of the patients, I am getting the correct prediction, whether the patient is cancerous or not. Here, 5 patients which has actually the cancer, right? And my algorithm did not able to understand that. But here only one person who has cancer, but my model did not able to understand. But for 70, the model is able to understand it as cancer, right? So it's actually a very good model, K nearest neighbor, rather than going with the name base. So from here we decide that okay, I think K nearest neighbor can be the best model for us to do the predictions. Now we did this prediction. Now what I will do is I'll just take, let's say I got a new patient. Let me copy this data set. Now I'm not taking the target. I'm just taking this data. Let me open one Excel and put it here. Let me save it. Okay. So let's consider that I have this new data coming in, which is for new patients. And I don't know whether they are having cancer or not. I don't know that. So based on the data, based on this data, I want to do the prediction whether these guys will get cancer or not, right? So this is my new patients altogether. So what I will do, I'll run the model. So first of all, I'll import this data set. So pd.read excel new data dot xlsx. This is my data set. Let me save it in new data. I'll convert this to an array. So new data dot ilog 0:30. You can see I'm getting all the columns. Perfect. And make it as dot values. There's my X new. These are my new patients. So basically, I'm doing the prediction for the new patients. Now, X new is what my new patients are, and I want to run my algorithm. I have my k nearest neighbor algorithm classifier knn dot predict and X new I will pass, which is my new patients, and I got the predictions. So as per my k nearest neighbor algorithm, it says that first patient, second patient, and third patient will not get cancer, but the fourth patient may get the cancer. Also, if I run naive-based algorithm, classifier nb dot predict, and if I'll pass x new, you can see that as per naive-based algorithm, no one will get cancer. So as per this model which we have created, we are able to understand that okay, these are my new patients, and the patient number 4 will get a cancer. However, as per this model, I may not get cancer. Like on these 4 patients may not get cancer. So it purely depends on. We finalize this model because this was giving more accuracy. So I will go with this model. If this patient may have chances for cancer, so maybe we can do some testing and all those things can be done, and we can save this guy if he's gonna get the cancer. So that is how we can do the prediction. Now this model we have created. This model I can very well save in my local machine and I can send it to you guys. You guys can able to run this model without any further training. I already trained the model with my dataset. I don't have to, you don't have to actually do the training again. I will very well save this model in one of the files and you can very well use that. I will send it to you over the email and you can very well use that. Right? So that is the benefit of this particular scenario. Let's say I want to save this model. My model name is what? Classifier KNN. This is the model which I have created. Now I don't want that you run the model again and do all the training, testing, everything. I just want that this file, which is the trained model file, you can use and you can do very well predictions from this particular file. So in that case, I will just import pickle, which is a package which is helping me to generate the pickle files. Now what I will do is with open, let's give the name as model pickle something. You can give any name. And I am creating a binary file wb as file, and then let's give the name as mp is equal to, or let me dump the file first of all. So pickle dot dump. My model name is what? Classifier knn. So I am using this model and dumping in the file. So I dumped the entire model in the model pickle file, and this file is stored in where? Get CWD What is my current working directory? Downloads. So in the downloads folder, you will see this model pickle file. Now this is my model, which I have created using the trained data. Now you don't have to run the model again. You can directly run this file and you will be able to do the prediction on your data set as well. If you have the same data, same as mine. You can open this file. It's a binary file, so you will not able to understand what's going on here. You will not able to read that, but this file is ready. Now, what I can do is, let's say I will open a new Jupyter instance altogether. Right now, I'm opening a new instance. That means in the new instance, I don't have any model trained. What I will do is I will use this model which I have just dumped in one of the file. I'll use that model and do the prediction again on my dataset. So I am opening a new instance of Jupyter Notebook, and then I will pass my entire model which I have saved in this file model pickle. I'll use that in my current instance of Jupyter Notebook, the new instance of Jupyter Notebook. So let's wait for some time. Let's give me some time to load. Now this is my Jupyter Notebook. I know that my file is present here at the downloads location. So I'll just go ahead and set my working directory. I set my working directory and I will import this new data which I have created, right? So import pandas as PD and pd.read Excel. The new data is what we have created, new data XLSX, and let me save it in new data. Now I am not doing any training, it's already trained. My model is already trained. I just have to fetch out that model. So import pickle, and then I want to open the file with open model underscore pickle, comma, I am reading the binary file as file. After that, I will write, let's give the name as model pickle MP, and then pickle dot load. I will click on the file. Now my model, if I'll run MP, you can see that it's a k neighbor classifier. That is what we created, right? That is what we executed here. So entire model is now with me in the current new instance. Consider that this is a new machine altogether. So in this new machine, I have the new model with me. Now with this, I want to predict. I'll use this new data, x new is equal to new data dot ilog colon comma 0 colon dot values. And now I will use predict x new. And you can see that I am getting the output. And I am getting the same output which I was getting in the previous instance. Here. The same output I am getting here as well. Perfect. So my model is ready. Now, if I will email you this file, model pickle file, and you have the same data, exactly same as this, your own data, you can able to run that model without any problem. So when I talk about image recognition, so in life sciences, we are also doing a lot of image recognition type of problems where I have fMRI brain image scans up there. I want to train that. I want to create a model. Now, using the images, train the model is like very time consuming process. So as it is very time consuming process, I cannot train model again and again. What I will do, I will train the model once. I will save that model file in one location, and I can ask you guys to use that file to get the prediction of your data set. Right, so that is how in industry people are using. So this is about what I wanted to discuss. Also, I want to share my YouTube channel link. If you guys are interested, you can very well go ahead and join that, subscribe that channel, because I'm gonna give you a lot of understanding on the latest skill sets. I'll just ping you guys this YouTube link, which you can subscribe to, and you can get a lot of insights about data science, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. So this is what I have. Any questions here? You can very well ask me.
So, if anybody have any question, uh, please write in chat box or come in the mic. Yes, viewer, listener, participant. If anybody have any discussion or any question or anything, you can come on the mic.
Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this channel, we are going to talk about latest technologies like R, Python programming, data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, deep learning, and business intelligence. We are going to talk about tools like Tableau, Power BI.
सर आई एम मोहम्मद अनस खान सर फ्रॉम फोर्सेम। मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है सर। सर आप पिकल को थोड़ा एलेबोरेट कर सकते हैं सर, कैसे काम करता है सर?
So pickle file is like a binary file. We can create a binary file. तो अगर हम लोग कोई भी एक एग्जांपल लेते हैं, so पर्पस क्या है इस पिकल का? फॉर एग्जांपल एक मेरा आर्किटेक्चर है, आई एम गेटिंग द रॉ डेटा, दिस माय रॉ डेटा. Now what I want is I have created a model on this raw data. Now when we do a training on my raw data, normally as of now हम लोग अभी क्या कर रहे हैं, 569 रिकॉर्ड्स पे हमने मॉडल ट्रेन किया. इट्स लाइक वेरी स्मॉल रिकॉर्ड. बट इफ आई टॉक अबाउट इमेज रिकग्निशन एंड ऑल दोस टाइप ऑफ सिनेरियोज, मेरा जो एक रॉ डेटा होता है काफी ज्यादा वॉल्यूम में होता है. ना इतने वॉल्यूम का डेटा अगर मैं मॉडल बनाना है तो ये आपको कम से कम 10-15 दिन 20 दिन भी लग सकता है. इट्स वेरी टाइम कंज्यूमिंग प्रोसेस. तो आपने मॉडल तो ट्रेन कर दिया 20 दिन के अंदर, बट अब अगर मुझे कोई, अभी सपोज मेरा सेशन ब्रेक हो गया, अगर मेरा सेशन ब्रेक हो जाता है तो ये जो मैंने पूरा मॉडल ट्रेन किया है सारा का सारा वेस्ट हो गया, मेरा 20 दिन का टाइम वेस्ट हो गया. So now what I want to do is when I am creating a model, I want कि ये जो मैं मॉडल बना रहा हूँ ये कहीं पे स्टोर हो जाए, ताकि अगर कभी मुझे इसको फ्यूचर में यूज करना पड़े, या फिर ऑब्वियसली मैं सपोज एक कंपनी है, उस कंपनी के अंदर काफी लोग काम कर रहे हैं, एक ही डेटा पे काम कर रहे हैं और सबको कुछ प्रिडिक्शंस करना है, तो मैं हर बंदा अगर मॉडल ट्रेन करने बैठ जाएगा तो मेरा पूरा का पूरा टाइम तो मॉडल ट्रेनिंग में चला जाएगा. तो उस केस में मैं क्या करूंगा, मैं एज अ लेट्स से डेटा साइंटिस्ट मैंने मॉडल बना दिया और मैंने उसको स्टोर कर दिया समवेयर, एंड देन मैंने अपने टीम वालों को बोला कि यू कैन यूज दिस मॉडल एंड डू द प्रिडिक्शन ऑफ योर डेटा. So I am actually saving the entire time of model training and putting that model file in one location, and I'm using that. So basically pickle file, what it does is it actually save the current state of a code in one of the files, and then people can use that particular file for future prediction. अब इसमें हम लोग ऐसा भी कर सकते हैं कि मैं एक काम करता हूँ, मैंने एक फ्रंट एंड बना दिया, फ्रंट एंड के अंदर मैं सारा डिटेल दे रहा हूँ कि कैंसर का साइज क्या है, ऑल दोस डिटेल्स, ट्यूमर का साइज क्या है. उसके बाद यहाँ पे आप एज ए यूजर वैल्यू पुट कर रहे हैं. जैसे ही आपने वैल्यू पुट किया, यहाँ पे एक प्रेडिक्ट का बटन है वो मैंने दबा दिया. जैसे ही मैंने प्रेडिक्ट का बटन प्रेस किया, वो क्या करेगा, जाके मॉडल को हिट करेगा, विच इज नथिंग बट पिकल फाइल को हिट करेगा. जैसे ही पिकल फाइल को हिट किया, उसने सारा का सारा डेटा लिया एज ए इनपुट, कुछ प्रिडिक्शन किया और आउटपुट दे दिया उसने. जैसे आउटपुट दिया उसको दिख गया कि हाँ दिस गाय इज कैंसरस और नॉट. So that type of prediction you can do. So here I can very well use this pickle file, which is actually storing the current state of the program, current state of the trained data, and do the prediction. That is the purpose of this pickle file.
तो सर इसमें हमारा जो ट्रेनिंग डेटा है वो भी स्टोर होता है क्या?
ट्रेनिंग डेटा स्टोर नहीं होगा इसमें, आपका मॉडल ट्रेन हुआ है वो स्टोर होगा, डेटा विल नॉट स्टोर। अगर डेटा स्टोर होता तो मेरा इसका फाइल का साइज कितना है, इट्स जस्ट 120 KB, और मेरा एक्सेल का फाइल का साइज कितना है, द डेटा सेट व्हिच आई हैड, it is 120 KB. Again, it's a obviously data is not getting stored basically. यहाँ पे साइज सेम दिखा रहा है बट डेटा स्टोर नहीं होता, इट्स जस्ट द मॉडल जो उसने ट्रेन करके रखा हुआ है वो जाके स्टोर।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सर।
Some more question from final year?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any more question?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
please.
Sir.
Yes, please speak.
Yes, sir. Good noon, sir. Actually, I wanted to know what are the methods that are used in choosing the value of nearest neighbors in KNN classifier.
So there is a concept of grid search algorithm. तो ग्रिड सर्च क्या करता है, आपको एक अलग अलग ग्रिड्स बनाता है। सपोज मैंने के नियरेस्ट नेबर, आई जस्ट शो यू दैट, के नियरेस्ट नेबर मुझे अब कितने देने हैं, बाय डिफॉल्ट तो 5 लेता है। अगर मुझे 5 नहीं देना है तो मैं क्या करूंगा, मैं एल्गोरिथम के अंदर, ग्रिड सर्च एल्गोरिथम के अंदर अलग अलग के नियरेस्ट नेबर की वैल्यू डाल दूंगा कि भाई 5 डाल दो, 11 डाल दो, 15 डाल दो, 17 डाल दो, 19 डाल दो, 21 डाल दो। उसके बाद मेरा एल्गोरिथम क्या करेगा, पहले 5 चलाएगा, 5 नेबर के साथ चलाएगा, एक्यूरेसी बताएगा, 11 के साथ चलाएगा, एक्यूरेसी बताएगा, 15 के साथ चलाएगा, एक्यूरेसी बताएगा, एंड सो ऑन। उसको पता चला कि भाई इतने सारे मैंने ऑप्शन चलाए और मुझे लेट्स से 21 पे मेरी एक्यूरेसी बहुत अच्छी आ रही है, तो मेरा मॉडल क्या बोलेगा कि 21 नंबर ऑफ नेबर्स आर करेक्ट। बट अभी मैंने क्या किया, मैंने सिर्फ एक रैंडम नंबर दिया है, तो 21 मेरा एकदम लास्ट नंबर है, तो मैं क्या करूंगा, दोबारा मॉडल चलाऊंगा। अब की बार मैं क्या करूंगा, मैं दूसरे ऑप्शंस दूंगा। 21 तो मुझे पता है 21 के ऊपर ही होगा वैल्यू, तो 21 दिया, 23 दिया, 25 दिया, 27 दिया। अब मैंने दोबारा मॉडल चलाया, अब दोबारा मेरा मॉडल चलाया तो मेरा 27 आया कि भाई 27 में मेरी एक्यूरेसी बहुत अच्छी आ रही है, मतलब कि 27 तो होना ही चाहिए, तो मैं दोबारा फिर उसको चलाऊंगा। जब मैं दोबारा चला रहा हूं, अब मैं दोबारा उसको ऑप्शंस क्या दूंगा, 27, 29, 31, 33। तो ये परमोटेशन कॉम्बिनेशन वाला काम है। अब मैंने दोबारा मॉडल चलाया, अब मुझे 27 नंबर पे ही सबसे अच्छी एक्यूरेसी आ रही है, तो मतलब कि मेरा बेस्ट नंबर ऑफ नेबर्स क्या होगा एज पर माय एल्गोरिथम, 27, बिकॉज 27 पे ही मेरी सबसे ज्यादा हाईएस्ट एक्यूरेसी आ रही है, बाकी नेबर्स को नहीं आ रही। सो वी विल अप्लाई ग्रिड सर्च एल्गोरिथम व्हिच इज हेल्पिंग मी टू अचीव दैट। इसको बोलते हैं हाइपर पैरामीटर ट्यूनिंग। Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
There is a question on the chat, sir. The data set you use appears to be within the range of 0 and 1. What if the data is more discrete, that is in large range? Will it be able to predict? In that case, we have a concept of standardization, Harshit. तो मुझे स्टैंडर्डाइज करना पड़ेगा डेटा को पूरा। ओके, स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन का फॉर्मूला होता है, there are two ways to do this particular thing. One is known as standardization, second is known as normalization. Standardization का फॉर्मूला आता है x minus x mean upon standard deviation of x, that is my standardization formula. My normalization formula is x minus x minimum upon x max minus x minimum. तो ये दोनों आपके फॉर्मूला होते हैं जो आप यूज करते हो फॉर स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन और नॉर्मलाइजेशन। इंडस्ट्री में लोग ज्यादातर स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन यूज करते हैं, सो दैट यू हैव टू अप्लाई व्हेन वी आर डीलिंग विद द डिस्टेंसेस। अगर आप कोई पॉइंट के बीच में डिस्टेंस निकाल रहे हो, ऐसा हो सकता है कि मेरे पास एक एम्प्लॉय एज है और सैलरी है। ऑब्वियसली सैलरी मेरा 5 से 10 डिजिट के बीच में हो सकता है, इट्स अ बिग नंबर, बट एज मेरा 2 डिजिट का ही है, सो ऑब्वियसली माय सैलरी विल डोमिनेट द एज, so I don't want that. What I will do is I will make that in the same scale. So by standardization or normalization, you can go for it.
Hello.
So
Yeah.
yes.
Sir, so what if the data is in the string format? So
स्ट्रिंग
what
फॉर्मेट
is
में
it
होगा तो
going?
उसको एनकोडिंग करना पड़ेगा पहले. देयर इज अ कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ एनकोडिंग. फॉर एग्जांपल मेरे पास मेल फीमेल है, तो मुझे मेल को 0 फीमेल को 1 करके एनकोडिंग करना पड़ेगा. और अगर मेरे पास मल्टीपल कैटेगरीज हैं तो उस केस में मेरे को एक कॉन्सेप्ट आता है वन हॉट एनकोडिंग, वो करना पड़ेगा. तो फॉर एग्जांपल लेट्स से स्टेट है, स्टेट के अंदर गुजरात, हरियाणा, महाराष्ट्र, मध्य प्रदेश करके आता है. तो अब क्या करोगे, इसको 0 1 2 3 करोगे. बट पाइथन इज अ मैथमेटिकल लैंग्वेज, तो 0 इज लेस देन 1, गुजरात इज लेस देन हरियाणा. नो, आई कैन नॉट से दैट, राइट? सो इन दैट केस देयर इज अ कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ एनकोडिंग, वन हॉट एनकोडिंग. वन हॉट एनकोडिंग क्या करता है, 0 0 0 1 0 0 1 0 0 1 0 0 1 0 0 0. तो बेसिकली वो 4 कॉलम में डिवाइड कर देगा और इसका कॉम्बिनेशन मिला के एक यूनिक वैल्यू बनेगी. तो जब मेरा स्ट्रिंग डेटा आता है तो ये ऐसा इसको चलाना पड़ेगा. ये हर्षित.
Some more question from final year. Others, Manudeep. Sir,
Good evening, sir.
Anybody
Am
have
I
any
audible?
question? Yes.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes. Please.
Yeah.
Yeah, good evening,
Yes.
everyone. I'm Manudeep Sinha from 8th semester UIT Barkatullah University. On behalf of my college, I want to extend my sincere thanks to Mr. Rahul Tiwari for taking such an informative session on application of AI and machine learning in life sciences. It is really a privilege to be able to attend such a session amid lockdown and be able to be updated in the field of AI and ML. I really like the way Sir has divided the session with an dived into the session with a live example, which helped to get us know that what we should expect while we work in that industry. Thank you so much for that. And I really found the session that very useful, and thank you for taking your time out for this session. I would also like to express my gratitude to our head of department, Computer Science of Engineering, Dr. Divakar Singh sir, for organizing such session on a national level. It is not easy to have this type of session on various platforms like GoToMeetings and YouTube live as well simultaneously. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you everyone for your cooperation to have run this session without any hiccups. So before heading towards the end of the session, as Divakar sir already told that you have a meeting on starting from 3 o'clock. So before ending, I just have one question that what advice would you give to yourself if you were in your final or pre-final year of engineering? Because a lot of us are in that stage, and what do you think that we should know uh, bef- uh, for those of us who want to mold their career in data science field and in life as general as well? What advice do you think? What advice do you want to give to us?
So what data science point of view, I think if you have passion, if you guys have passion, you can definitely go for it. There are a lot of ways you can showcase your skills. First of all, try to solve a lot of problems. In Kaggle, there are a lot of problems we have. And once you solve that problem, you can create your GitHub repository. So people are creating the GitHub repositories as well. You can create your LinkedIn profile. I'm not sure how many of you guys have LinkedIn profile, but there are a lot of people who are actually final year students and they have a great GitHub profile. They are sharing all the knowledge which they have. They are doing a lot of hands-on on the latest data and try to do the predictions and then showcase with the larger audiences. So first of all, GitHub is very important. You can create your own GitHub profile and then showcase that to the larger audience. And when you are going for an interview, you can very well show this GitHub profile to your interviewer, and you can tell them that I worked on these type of business problem and I applied this type of algorithm. So what will happen is that when you are going for an interview, you are actually driving the interview, because he's asking, the first question he will ask is, tell me about yourself. You can tell about yourself, and then you tell about that I worked on data science problems and I have my GitHub repository. I worked on regression problem. I worked on time series. I worked on classification problem. I did a lot of clustering examples as well. I used the cancer data to do the prediction. So when you are talking in terms of functional, like I want to know whether the cancer is benign or malignant. So these type of words when you use, so obviously the interviewer will impress, and then he will ask questions on those lines which you already worked on. He will not ask any questions what he was thinking as of now. So you will say that I worked on classification problem, I apply k nearest neighbor. So he will jump to k nearest neighbor and he will ask about k nearest neighbor with you or to you. So that is one more thing which you can. So you are actually driving your own interview by showing the skill sets which you have, by showing the GitHub repository. You can tell them that this is my GitHub repository and you can very well explore this and you can ask any questions from there. So that is one way. Second is, again, when you are creating a repository, try to share the code with the larger community by using LinkedIn. You can share the, it's a good way of building the relations with the corporate people. That is what we can go for. And then create a resume in a way that it should consist of all the necessary keywords. So resume building is also very important. So overall, I think the brand building which you have to do is through GitHub, through LinkedIn, and through resume. So these are the three things. Second, about the life overall, I think nothing is impossible. As of now, we never knew that this type of pandemic will happen, but it happened. But still, we are surviving. So overall, from the mistakes I made in my life, I never uh, took life very seriously about like, okay, I may face some financial crunch in this time. Like again, most of the people are facing that. So I was very much lenient about my finances. So I think keep saving it rather than spending money anywhere. I spend a lot of money on my different businesses, and again, because of this pandemic, a lot of losses happened. So from here, I understand that some money for your necessary of life necessities there. So I think keep saving it, apply in mutual funds, apply in bank FDs and all those things. So that is again very important, because we are not sure how or when this will happen again. So at that point in time, we should have a necessary fund. So I think that proper financial management is also very important, because at the end, money will matter once you have to survive. So that thing I will also definitely tell you guys, because you are young and definitely will be very much interested on spending money on various different places, and which may not be worth, because now you guys will able to understand that without movies, without going to restaurants, without doing any party, we should able to live properly. And I think 20,000, 30,000 rupees per month is sufficient enough for us to live a proper life. So if you are earning more in your future, you can try to spend in the proper way, maybe in a mutual funds, or increase your funds so that it will be beneficial for you in your future career or future life. Where I am not sure, again the pandemic may will come, and then it will definitely lead to again some financial crunch. So it should not be there. So I think that is again an important lesson which I learned from over the period of time. So I think that is what I will say about your life, nothing else. And again, stay safe, spend some time with the family. That is more important rather than, I think, earning money.
Indeed, sir. Thank you so much for addressing us and giving this great advice for us all.
All right, thank you. Anything else, guys?
One question from my side on behalf of all students. They have a parallel many branches for computer science is there, like web development, like mobile app development, like data science, machine learning, deep learning, and big data. So these are the parallel thing I have seen. So as per your advice, in for next 5 year, for next 10 year, in that term, which line is good as per your opinion?
As per my opinion, anything related to data will be very important and very useful, and I think the future is good. if I talk about the website development, I think the market is very much there, and people are like there are a lot of companies available, and the salary package. If I talk about the people who are in the college and they want to jump into any of the fields, I think website development, the salary package, you will not see very exponential. It's like, okay, like you will get a decent salary. But I think when we are talking about the data is growing day by day. So if I see the good domain, I think big data is a good domain, data science is a good domain, machine learning is a good domain, and artificial intelligence is a good domain. These are the main domains which students should focus and college should focus as well. Apart from that, website development, all those things, I don't see any future out there. It's already stagnant. There are a lot of companies available. People know how to create a website. There are a lot of companies like Wix.com and all those things. They know how, like, it's a drag and drop, and people can create the websites as well. So I think the future is limited and the salary is limited as well. But again, data, if you have good knowledge about statistics, if you have good knowledge about mathematics, if you have good knowledge about Python is again exponentially growing. And I think these skill sets will definitely lead to the better place for the students. I think that is what I will say.
One more question I have. Journey of I have seen that you come from BE Civil, and now you are a international level person in this computer science area. So this is not easy journey, I think. So please share something about that.
So I did my engineering from NIT Surat. So I was a civil engineer, and I was very much passionate about creating the software. So when I was doing engineering in civil, I created a lot of software on civil as well using Visual Basics and C programming, and I showcased that to the Accenture. But when I joined Accenture, at that time there was a process that you have to give exam and you have to clear the exam. And if you will not clear the exam, then you will get out of the company and you have to search for new job. So when I was in Accenture, there were 3 tests happening for one of the subjects. For example, C programming, there are 3 tests. Unix, there are 3 tests, and so on. So initially, I was facing a bit of challenge because I was not aware of what is testing is, what is data warehousing is, what is Unix is. C programming, I had a small little bit of knowledge, but not that much. So I was struggling to clear the exam. So most of the exam I cleared in the third attempt. Somehow, luckily, I cleared the exam. But after that, when I joined the project, the real-time project, at that time I really faced the biggest challenge. People are saying, I can do a join of 20 tables together. I was thinking what join is, what type of join. I can do 20 joins per day. I was not able to understand what's going on, what they are talking. And then I moved to on-site. I went to Sweden and people are talking about all technical terms. And I was literally blank what's going on, what people are talking. And one of my manager told me that now you create one code which will have some loops. So I literally today also I am very much scared of the loops. I don't like loops. So I started the programming and creating some loops. But वहाँ पे क्या है, मेरे से कोड बन नहीं रहा था. तो मैंने अपने दोस्तों से हेल्प नहीं चालू की. तो मेरे मैनेजर को पता चल गया कि ये हेल्प ले रहा है. तो मेरे दोस्तों को उसने सबने मना कर दिया कि भाई इसको पता हेल्प नहीं करनी, इसको खुद करने देना, वरना ये सीख नहीं पाएगा. मैं पूछ पाछ के रात में कभी जग के मैंने कहा बता दे प्लीज बता दे करके मैं कर करके मैं कोड बना दिया. मेरे मैनेजर को पता चल गया कि इसने ना कहीं से कॉपी मारा है. तो इनिशियली इट वाज वेरी चैलेंजिंग. और मेरे मैनेजर ने फिर काफी लोगों के सामने बोला कि तुमको कुछ आता नहीं है, उस टाइप से भी उसने बोला. तो थोड़ा मुझे तब खराब लगा. तो उसके बाद फिर मैंने सोचा कि नहीं अब मुझे इसमें फील्ड में एक्सेल करना है. तो देन आई स्टार्टेड लर्निंग सिंसियरली बिकॉज तब मैं एमबीए का सोच रहा था. मैंने कहा एमबीए करते हैं, तो मेरा ध्यान एमबीए में था, आईटी में कुछ ध्यान था नहीं. बट देन आई स्टार्टेड वर्किंग ऑन आईटी एंड देन आई लिटरली लर्नड एवरीथिंग. एंड आफ्टर दैट कैपजेमिनी के बाद मेरे पास 5-6 ऑफर्स थे जॉब के ऑन डेटा वेयरहाउसिंग. तो इतना मैंने अपने आप को स्किल कर लिया था कि आई हैड 5-6 जॉब्स एंड आई हैड अ चॉइस कि मैं कहाँ पे जाके जॉब कर सकता हूँ. तो चैलेंज मेरे को इनिशियली काफी हुआ था. लोग रिपोजिटरी की बात कर रहे हैं, लोग डेटाबेस की बात कर रहे हैं, प्राइमरी की, प्राइमरी इंडेक्स, बहुत कुछ बात टेक्निकल बात करते थे. काफी चैलेंज था, बट उसको मुझे कॉन्स्टेंटली अपडेट करना पड़ा अपने आप को और सारी चीजें मुझे सीखनी पड़ी. और उसके लिए मैंने काफी यूट्यूब चैनल्स देखे, काफी मैंने खुद प्रैक्टिस करी, काफी मैंने क्लाइंट के साथ डिस्कशन किया. सो ओवरऑल इट वाज अ गुड लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंस. बट इनिशियली काफी चैलेंजेस फेस हुए थे. तभी अभी मैं जब भी किसी को पढ़ाता हूँ तो मुझे पता है कि एज ए लेमैन कैसे पढ़ाना है और कैसे समझाना है, ताकि वो इस तरीके से समझ जाए कि उसको सब इजी लगे, रादर देन मैं अगर डायरेक्टली क्लासिफिकेशन चालू कर दूंगा, एल्गोरिथम बनाना चालू कर दूंगा, समझेगा नहीं। पहले उसको समझाना कि स्टेप बाय स्टेप होता क्या है। अगर मैं डेटा वेयर हाउसिंग की क्लास लेता हूँ तो पहले पूरा उसको समझाता हूँ टेबल होता है, टेबल की जरूरत क्या है, प्राइमरी की क्या होती है, फॉरेन की क्या होती है, ऐसा क्यों चाहिए होता है। तो उसको पूरा डिटेल पहले समझाओ, उसके बाद फिर उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करो तो उसको इजीली समझ में आता है। प्रैक्टिकल सिनेरियो लेना एक बहुत जरूरी है किसी को समझाने के लिए। अगर मैं सपोज एक फाइनेंस का लेता हूँ, क्योंकि बैंक की लोन की बात करता हूँ और एक प्रोजेक्ट समझाता हूँ, तो बच्चा समझ नहीं पाएगा। बट अगर मैं एक रिटेल स्टोर की बात करता हूँ तो बच्चा ज्यादा अच्छे से समझ पाएगा, बिकॉज वो डे टू डे रिटेल स्टोर में जाता है, उसको पता है कि मैं यहाँ से सामान खरीदता हूँ, कितनी इसकी कॉस्टिंग होती है, क्या होता है। तो उसको अगर मैं एक रिटेल स्टोर का एग्जाम्पल लेके समझाऊँ कोई भी प्रॉब्लम, तो इजीली समझ सकता है। तो मुझे ये आइडिया इतना आ गया है कि अगर मुझे किसी को कुछ एज ए लेमन समझाना है तो मैं उसको एक आसान भाषा में कैसे समझा सकता हूँ, वो एक चीज मुझे सीखने को मिली है। तो अभी जैसे मेरा पूरा का पूरा काम बिजनेस को समझाना, बिजनेस के लिए सॉल्यूशन बनाना, प्लस मेरे काफी स्टूडेंट्स हैं उनको हेल्प करना, तो ये सब मैं करता हूँ। तो मैं एज ए लेमैन समझाता हूँ पहले, उसके बाद उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करके देता हूँ। तो ओवरऑल जो मेरा लर्निंग प्रोसेस था वो मैं इजीली समझाने का तरीका बाकी में इम्प्लीमेंट करता हूँ। तो चैलेंज था, बट अभी ठीक चल रहा है।
मैंने लास्ट 2 मंथ में आपके लगभग सारे लेक्चर ही यूडरेका अटेंड किए हैं, चाहे वो विजुअलाइजेशन का हो, डेटा साइंस का हो या मशीन लर्निंग का हो। तो आई फाउंड न्यू थिंग मीन्स जो आप बोल रहे हैं कि एक समझाने का जो तरीका, सो यू हैव very good skill to explain other. So that's why I came to this conclusion that कि आपको हम यहाँ इनवाइट करें और हमारे बच्चों के बीच आप आए, और जो कि मुझे मुश्किल टास्क लग रहा था, बट इतने बेस्ट शेड्यूल के बीच आपने हमें समय दिया और हमारे बच्चों के बीच आए, तो इस बात के लिए बहुत धन्यवाद। और आप ऐसे भी एजुकेशन वर्ल्ड में नाम करते रहें और यूनिवर्सिटीज और एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूट को हेल्प करते रहें अपने नॉलेज से। तो ये मेरी विश है, और थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर योर कमिंग एंड ऑल द बेस्ट फॉर योर फ्यूचर।
थैंक यू, थैंक्स फॉर गिविंग मी दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी। आई होप सारे स्टूडेंट्स को कुछ तो समझ में आया होगा। ये 1 घंटा ही था मेरे पास, तो इतना जल्दी समझाया। आई एम नॉट
सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट यू। आप अपने रिपोजिटरी में इसको जरूर सेव कर दें, जो कोड अभी आपने किया है। तो आपका जो गिट रिपोजिटरी है इसमें सेव कर दें, जिससे हमारे स्टूडेंट और आपका यदि गिट आईडी भी शेयर कर पाए इधर चैट बॉक्स में, तो ये जिन लोगों ने भी ये देखा है तो वो डेफिनेटली इसको प्रैक्टिस कर पाएंगे और ज्यादा कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ कर पाएंगे।
ठीक है, मैं आपको ये लिंक तो शेयर कर देता हूँ और इसमें मैं आपको कोड भी डाल दूंगा। तो इसमें काफी डेटा साइंस के कोड्स पड़े हुए हैं, दे रहा हूँ। और मेरा यूट्यूब चैनल का मैं आपको लिंक दिया है, तो काफी न्यू वीडियोस मेरे वहाँ पे आने वाले हैं, तो आप लोग उसको सब्सक्राइब कर सकते
हाँ,
हैं। काफी
यूट्यूब मेरे पास मैंने फिल किया है, मैंने लिंक। और अभी मैं ये यहीं से भी मेरे जो स्टूडेंट ग्रुप में जुड़े हुए हैं, मैं अभी राइट नाउ शेयर कर देता हूँ। व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप यहीं पे मेरा लैपटॉप पे खुला हुआ है, तो राइट नाउ मैं शेयर कर देता हूँ, सो स्टूडेंट एबल टू सी यू इन यूट्यूब।
क्योंकि मैं इसमें अभी काफी मैथमेटिक्स और स्टैटिस्टिक्स की भी वीडियोस डालने वाला हूँ, तो उसको मैं ऐसे लेमैन टर्म ही समझाने वाला हूँ। मेरे ख्याल से काफी यूजफुल रहेगा बच्चों को। तो अगर आप इसको सब्सक्राइब करेंगे तो आपको काफी बेनिफिट होगा। Stay in touch, and I am also in the LinkedIn. You can join in the LinkedIn link. You can discuss whatever topics. All right, so this is what I have. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, some more question to anybody, please?
Sir, I have a question.
Anybody have any question?
Yes, sir,
please.
I have a question. This is Adarsh Mishra from first year.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Rahul sir, I want to ask then, what is the future of ethical hacking? Means after 4 or 5 years, what is the scope of ethical hacking in the tech field? Can you explain this?
एथिकल हैकिंग का इतना मुझे नॉलेज है नहीं, बट साइबर सिक्योरिटी का काफी मार्केट चल रहा है अभी। तो फ्यूचर तो ऑब्वियसली है, क्योंकि काफ़ी डेटा रिलेटेड इश्यूज भी हैं, काफ़ी डेटा शेयर हो रहे हैं जो कि नहीं होने चाहिए। तो साइबर सिक्योरिटी इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फील्ड। सो इफ वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट साइबर सिक्योरिटी, आई थिंक देयर इज अ गुड फ्यूचर फॉर इट। अगर मैं टॉप 10 की बात करूँ, टॉप 10 टेक्नोलॉजी, तो एथिकल हैकिंग, साइबर सिक्योरिटी इज आई थिंक वन ऑफ द इम्पोर्टेंट फील्ड टू गो फॉर। बट अगेन मेरा इंक्लिनेशन टुवर्ड्स डेटा ज़्यादा है, क्योंकि मैंने 13-14 साल डेटा पे काम किया और मुझे इसकी अहमियत पता है कि डेटा कितना ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट हो सकता है। और अभी तो हम लोग के पास काफ़ी प्रोसेसिंग पावर भी आ गई है और काफ़ी अच्छे मशीन्स भी आ गए। तो ओवरऑल मेरे ख्याल से डेटा वर्ल्ड में जाना इज़ व्हाट आई विल सजेस्ट। बट अगेन अगर आपका इंटरेस्ट उस साइड है तो आप वहाँ पे भी जा सकते हैं।
सर जैसा आप सर डेटा बोल रहे हैं सर, डेटा वर्ल्ड मतलब कि एक बहुत एक अच्छा यूनिक वे है, लेकिन सर डेटा वगैरह सर लीक भी तो होता है सर। कोई भी वेबसाइट हो, कितना भी अच्छा मतलब उसका फायरवॉल हो, बट वो किसी ना किसी पॉइंट पे आकर वनरेबिलिटीज होती है, उसमें लूप होल्स होते हैं, तो हैक हो ही जाता है। तो हैकिंग यहाँ पर एक रोल प्ले कर सकता है सर डेटा को सेव करने के लिए।
रोल प्ले करेगा, ऑब्वियसली करेगा, क्योंकि डेटा को संभालना बहुत जरूरी है। तो हैकिंग को मना नहीं कर रहा हूँ कि इसका फ्यूचर नहीं है, हैकिंग का फ्यूचर तो रहना ही रहना है। बट एट द सेम टाइम अगर आपने एक सॉल्यूशन बना दिया है हैकिंग के लिए और साइबर सिक्योरिटी आपकी स्ट्रॉन्ग है, एट द एंड जहाँ पे अब आप कितने आप साइबर सिक्योरिटी के जॉब्स अगर आप देखते हो, डेटा मेरा जनरेट हो रहा है एक्सपोनेंशियली, तो मुझे डेटा वाले बंदे ज़्यादा चाहिए एज कम्पेयर टू हैकिंग वाले बंदे। बिकॉज हैकिंग वाले बंदे की जॉब रिक्वायरमेंट कितनी होगी, एक कंपनी में एक या दो बंदा ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा, या 5 बंदे। तो डेटा के लिए मेरे पास जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटी ज़्यादा है। तो मुझे ये समझना पड़ेगा कि आपको अपॉर्चुनिटी कहाँ पे ज़्यादा आने वाली है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर मैं एक बहुत बेसिक बात करूँ, इनिशियली सबने बोला था कि डेटा वेयरहाउस के हम लोग एडमिन बन जाते हैं। बट एक डेटा वेयरहाउस का एडमिन कितना होगा, 1 या 2 या 5 मैक्सिमम। बट जो डेटा बेस का डेवलपर है वो कितने होंगे, वो बहुत ज्यादा होंगे। तो मुझे वो देखना पड़ेगा कि अपॉर्चुनिटीज कहाँ पे ज्यादा है। अगर मेरे पास 5 एथिकल हैकिंग की रिक्वायरमेंट है तो मेरे पास 50 डेटा वालों की रिक्वायरमेंट है, ऑटोमेटिकली वहाँ पे स्कोप बढ़ जाता है।
Hello, sir. Yeah, sir.
Yeah.
Actually, there is no question. Actually, I liked the lecture and your experience and your journey very much that I couldn't resist myself to say thank you. So, I sincerely want to convey my thanks to you that the lecture was very good. In particular, what you mentioned the algorithm, the information that you gave on the algorithm was very good. I couldn't have met a great tutor other than you. So, again, thank you very much, sir, for the hands-on and all the information and the algorithms. And I hope to stay connected with you on the YouTube and LinkedIn. Thank you very much, sir.
Divakar sir, I have a question.
ऑलराइट, थैंक यू प्रशांत। तुम्हारा थैंक यू सुनाई दिया, मतलब थैंक यू तुम्हें बोल रहा हूँ, इससे बाकी आवाज बहुत आ रही है।
जी आपका क्वेश्चन है, आप वीडियो में है, पूछें। एचपी नाम रख रखा है आपने अपना। जी आप क्वेश्चन पूछे अपना।
हाँ, मैं रविंद्र बोल रहा हूँ सर। जो नए स्टूडेंट हैं जो डेटा एनालिटिक्स, एमएल और मशीन लर्निंग में आगे चल के काम करना चाहते हैं, तो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और प्लेटफॉर्म जो जैसे AWS है, एज्योर है, ये काफी कॉस्टली है। तो नए स्टूडेंट्स को इन सब चीजों पे प्रैक्टिस करने के लिए और लाइव टेस्टिंग के लिए प्लेटफॉर्म परचेज करना काफी कॉस्टली होता है। तो मैं राहुल सर से जानना चाहता हूँ कि क्या इसका क्या तरीका हो सकता है कि लाइव टेस्टिंग के लिए और मॉडल्स वगैरह को ट्रेंड करने के लिए कोई अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म हो जो फिजिबल हो और नॉर्मल स्टूडेंट को परचेज करना और उस पे मॉडल ट्रेन करना आसानी हो।
AWS में आपको कुछ घंटे फ्री मिलते हैं मेरे ख्याल से। हम लोग अगर आप क्रेडिट कार्ड इन्फॉर्मेशन डालोगे तो 750 आवर्स का मेरे ख्याल से फ्री EC2 इंस्टेंस मिलता है हमको। तो AWS में आप बेसिक मशीन्स आप ले सकते हो फॉर टेस्टिंग के लिए। बट अगर आपको उतना स्पेंड नहीं करना है तो मेरे ख्याल से हर कॉलेज में आजकल सर्वर्स अवेलेबल है। तो हम लोग कंसिडर कर सकते हैं कि एक सर्वर जो ऑन प्रीमाइस सर्वर है वो एक ऐसे आप कंसिडर करोगे क्लाउड सर्वर है और उसमें आप अपना सारा का सारा मॉडल डिप्लॉय करके आप टेस्टिंग करा सकते हैं और ट्रेनिंग, ऑल दोस थिंग्स कैन बी डन। बट आई थिंक क्लाउड में अगर करना है आपको, क्लाउड की भी ट्रेनिंग देनी है, तो AWS अभी अच्छा चल रहा है मार्केट में, तो हम लोग उसको मतलब जो फ्री हमारे पास ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल है उसको हम यूज करके लर्न कर सकते हैं। बट अगर आपको मॉडल ट्रेनिंग की बात करें तो हम लोग ऑन प्रीमाइस सर्वर पर भी जाके मॉडल ट्रेन करके डिप्लॉय करके दिखा सकते हैं, तो आई थिंक वो भी एक अच्छा ऑप्शन है हमारे।
ओके सर, थैंक यू दिवाकर सर।
तो परिचय नहीं दिया आपने, शायद इंडस्ट्री से, सॉफ्टवेयर इंडस्ट्री।
हाँ सर, सॉफ्टवेयर इंडस्ट्री।
HP जो आपने नाम बताया, आपको परिचय
नहीं, रविंद्र कुमार।
राहुल जी को बताइए, राहुल जी को बताइए अपना परिचय। राहुल जी को अच्छा लगेगा कि सॉफ्टवेयर इंडस्ट्री के लोग भी सुन रहे हैं।
राहुल सर, Ravindra here. I have been working in software development since last 10 years. Today I got an invitation from Divakar sir. So I was curious to join and listen you, and you have delivered a very nice information with all of the students and professionals. Many persons are also hearing from our team. So it would be better for new student and professional like us, as we are sharing knowledge and information regarding this. So I had a question actually from a student who was working on the same kind of project. So I asked him, and it was nice to hear, and all the organizer, Dr. Divakar sir. Thanks for this.
ओके, थैंक यू राहुल जी, बहुत टाइम दिया आप लोगों का, सभी लोगों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। बहुत राहुल जी से तो मतलब 24 घंटे बातें की जा सकती हैं, ये बहुत अच्छा बोलते हैं और बहुत अच्छा एक्सप्लेन करते हैं, जैसा इन्हें बताया भी। तो अब इनका चूंकि हमने ऑलरेडी अगले सेशन का भी टाइम हम लोगों ने ओवरलैप कर लिया है। थैंक यू वेरी मच राहुल जी। और अगेन यदि हमारे स्टूडेंट की रिक्वेस्ट आई तो हम अगेन आपको रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कि हमारे स्टूडेंट के बीच आप आए। तो थैंक यू वेरी मच राहुल जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
All right, thanks for your time guys, take care.
ओके, थैंक यू एवरीबॉडी, जो लोग भी इस सेशन को आए, ज्वाइन किया, और सभी लोगों ने आई होप एंजॉय किया होगा। बहुत अच्छे स्पीकर इंटरनेशनल लेवल के लोग हमारे पास आए और इतने कम समय में बहुत अच्छे तरीके से, जिस तरीके से इन्होंने बात को रखा, लाइफ साइंस के एक रियल प्रॉब्लम को किस तरीके से मशीन लर्निंग में ट्रांसफर करके और सारा मॉडल बताया, तो आई थिंक हमारे स्टूडेंट को मोटिवेशन मिला होगा। और मैंने राहुल जी से रिक्वेस्ट की है कि वो अपना कोड शेयर करें। आप लोगों को व्हाट्सएप में ऑलरेडी मैंने लिंक शेयर कर दी है राहुल जी के गिटहब रिपोजिटरी की, तो ये कोड आई होप आप लोग वहां मिल जाएगा और आप उसको प्रैक्टिस करके और दूसरे एप्लीकेशन में भी इसको फिट कर पाएंगे। सो थैंक यू वेरी मच। और कल हम लोग अगेन इस सेशन स्टार्ट करेंगे लगभग 12:30 के आसपास, और जो भी होगा आप लोगों का, जो भी लोग रजिस्टर्ड हैं उनको ईमेल पे या मेरा फेसबुक पे और लिंक्डइन पे टाइम अपडेट और एक्सपर्ट के साथ हम वहां कर देंगे। उसके बेसिस पे आप लोग उस टाइम पे ज्वाइन कीजिएगा और आपको व्हाट्सएप और ईमेल से भी हम इन्फॉर्म करेंगे। थैंक यू वेरी मच टू एवरीबॉडी। थैंक यू।
थैंक यू सो मच सर।
थैंक यू सर।
थैंक यू सर।
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, please.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. अगेन हाँ, कल आप लोगों से एक बात शेयर हुई, कल प्रसन्ना कुमार आ रहे हैं। आप लोग लिंक्डइन में उनका वो देखिएगा, प्रसन्ना लोहर, जो इंटरनेशनल स्पीकर हैं, न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी, बैंक टेक्नोलॉजी, क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग और क्या कहेंगे, क्रिप्टोग्राफी एंड ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी, स्पेशली फॉर ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी, जो भी कमिंग फ्यूचर है। आज हम राहुल जी से नहीं बात कर पाए ब्लॉकचेन की, तो कमिंग फ्यूचर जो ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी का है और वो कैसे होल वर्ल्ड को बदलने वाला है, तो इस सिनेरियो पे राहुल जो प्रसन्ना लोहार जी हैं, इंटरनेशनल स्पीकर हैं एंड प्लानिंग एंड डेवलपमेंट बैंक से रिलेटेड चीजों में न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी के, वो 2 बजे से उनका टॉक स्टार्ट होगा, 2 से 3:30 का स्लॉट है हमारे पास उनके बात करने का। तो आप सब लोग स्पेशली बैंक से रिलेटेड और इंडस्ट्री से रिलेटेड लोग सभी उनको जरूर सुने। और उससे पहले हमारा एक सेशन और होगा जो कि कोविड-19 एरा में जॉब सिनेरियो इंडस्ट्री, सॉफ्टवेयर इंडस्ट्री एंड अदर इंडस्ट्री, इस पे भी बात होगी। तो ये सारा डिटेल आप लोगों को शेयर होगा। बट प्रसन्ना जी जो एक ऑटोमेशन, रोबोटिक और बैंकिंग टेक्नोलॉजी, इस तरह की लेटेस्ट जो भी टेक्नोलॉजीज हैं, 5G, IoT, इन सारी लेटेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी को मिला के कैसे ह्यूमन बेनिफिट के लिए यूज करें, उन सारी चीजों का सिनेरियो कल बताएंगे। डेफिनेटली सभी लोग आके सुने, और आप लोगों के जान पहचान के जो लोग भी हों उनको भी बताएं कि वो लोग भी सुने। बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट लेक्चर होने वाला है कल का 2 बजे से 3:30 बजे तक का। थैंक यू।